I'm Intruder Green. You might know me from things like Ramone's Museum, Thunder Bay Correctional Center, and Peanut. Welcome to the Intruder Green podcast. Oh yeah, it is the 20. I know how to talk good. All right, the 27th of October in 2021, and I hope you're feeling spooky because this is basically counts as the Halloween episode. You know, it's just another episode, really, but you know, I hope that everybody is going to enjoy Halloween as much as I always do because it's really my favorite holiday. Not just because of the whole like mask thing and everything. I mean, that is kind of works out, but it's kind of like just a coincidence, really. I think it's just a cool holiday because, you know, it's like Christmas is good because you get presents and stuff. But really, Christmas is like a working day for me because, you know, you got to go around to all these houses and stuff and like Santa puts the present in and I take the presents out. And, you know, it's like a give and take kind of deal. But as Halloween goes, it's like you go up to a house and they just give you stuff. That's cool. I mean, it's candy. And candy is delicious. So why not put on a costume and pretend you're a little kid and go get some candy? All right. I mean, you could also just like wave a knife at them and be like, hey, give me some candy. And they'll probably give you candy then too. Allegedly. All right. Yeah. So on this episode, I got to give a shout out to the producers of the podcast. We got Luke Ellis, Ren Sons, Heather Royston, Gem City, Sabrina, Sarah Koenig, Audacity Crash Clothing, Chelsea McNally, Cardboard Box Colony, and Carlos Hernandez. Thanks again, guys, as always, for being a part of the group that makes this happen. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I guess we're rolling on, I don't know about all cylinders, but like a lot of them right now because we're getting like another episode out this month. Feeling good about it. I do have a couple of DJ gigs coming up, and you can go on my social medias and find out about that because I don't have the dates in front of me right now, but I do know that they're happening in November and December, and honestly, they're in Europe. So if you're not in Europe, I mean, you could probably book a plane ticket real cheap and come on over. You know, if you want to see old Green DJ, one is the Booze Cruise in Hamburg, and for the life of me, I just can't remember the date of that. But then I'm also going to be doing a thing with my buddy Joe McMahon at Frankenbar. And I still got to get the flyers and stuff for that up. But you know, you just pay attention to social medias. You got your Twitter, the Instagram, and the Facebook. I guess I could do a thing on TikTok about it. You know, like I started a TikTok account. And like now I feel like I should do more stuff on that. But I'm also like, man, fucking social media. What a fucking waste of time. Anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I'm going to do more stuff. And, you know, people on TikTok, you know, let me know what you think about my TikTok stuff. Otherwise, we could just, like, chat. And, I don't know, there's this new app that's, like, all audio-based. Now, that's kind of interesting. I don't know how it will work real good, but I might check it out. Anyway, on this episode of the podcast, we got Darryl Fine, who is the owner of the Bovine Sex Club. This is kind of like a two-parter episode almost because we got the last episode with KJ from Chicks Dig It, and he was talking about their 30th anniversary as a band. And so this time we got Darryl, and he's talking about the 30th anniversary of Bovine Sex Club, which is like this legendary punk rock. Well, it's not a punk rock club. It's a music club, you know, like he says in the interview, they have all sorts of music there. But I think there's a pretty tight punk rock scene in Toronto. It's a big city, you know, they got all kinds of scenes there. Just the music scene in general is pretty great. So I think Bovine Sex Club has been a big part of that. And we've definitely hung out there a bunch and had a good time. Had lots of good times, I should say. And yeah, I also wanted to give a shout out to the new Officer Bradford calendars. Even though it's the stinking cop, you know how this works. You buy these calendars from Officer Bradford, and all the money goes to Planned Parenthood, and that's real important because, like, even though you know Trump's not in office no more, and you don't have quite as much pressure on places trying to help women in need of medical assistance out. it's still obviously going to be a problem, especially where is it, Texas, where they were like basically made abortions completely illegal, and like even if you thought about having an abortion, they could fucking sue you with some shit. It's fucked up. Anyway, not to get into some dark shit, but go buy your Bradford calendar. If you hit up Officer Bradford on the social medias, I'm sure you can find out about how to get a hold of those. I'm sure he's doing some events that you'll be able to get him at. Unfortunately, no Mass Intruder shows to look forward to right now. But, we'll let you know as soon as there's something like that coming up. And anyway, without further ado, on with the show.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Intruder Green,
an inmate at the Darryl Correctional Institution. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1.
Come on, girl, now it's time to go to a place where nobody goes. In another time, on the other side of space, it won't be the same. Unlock and go where party goes. Unlock and go where party goes.
Oh, hell yeah, she is. All right. Yeah, Melanie K. First of all, we're here with Darryl, and you're at the Bovine right now. I can see you have a beautiful backdrop, actually. The podcast is audio only, but like sometimes I like to put some of these up on like a video, like on YouTube and stuff when the Zoom recording looks real good. I think we might have to do this one that way because like you look great. And your backdrop is awesome.
This is from a local artist in Toronto. His artist name is Dude Man, so you can always look him up. Dudeman.ca.
Oh hell yeah, I think I heard of that guy. Yeah, it's real good stuff. And it's just a little tidbit for anybody who does take the chance to look at that of I don't know, the beauty that is the Bovine Sex Club. That place is an exceptionally I don't know what to say, artistic bar, beautiful. It's like it's intense, I guess, is what the best way to put it.
Yeah, the whole place is made of recycled materials. Before it became chic to be environmental, we were picking up garbage at the side of the road and making it into art on all the walls, the front of the building, all over the place in here. It's a bunch of contributions from local artists over the last 30 years.
That's right. And KJ, you mentioned, we just did the interview with KJ because we're talking about the 30th anniversary here and everything. And it's like, I should have known this before, but you guys don't really have a sign outside that says like the Bovine or nothing. It's just a bunch of like crazy shit. And everybody is like, oh yeah, that's obviously the place, which is like, like I was saying, like we've come and hung out there a bunch of times, and every time it's like, oh yeah, that's the one. You don't need a sign. It's just like, when you see it, right?
Yeah, basically it's a piece of 30-year-old data-like sculpture entwined with Christmas lights. Looks like it's going to fall off the building, but we have a secret. We have a secret way of keeping it up there with turnbuckles and aircraft cable. A little trick my dad, the engineer, taught me years ago.
Oh, that's great. So does that factor into a lot of like what you're doing here? I mean, you say a lot of you get a lot of like local artists and stuff pitching in to make stuff for you, but I guess a lot of it has to come from your own ingenuity, right? Like you got to like build, you got to like mount this stuff up there and make sure it's safe all the time. Is that true?
A little bit. I mean, it's also a bit of trust. I mean, when we were younger, great Bob Scott and Dave Greason did the front of the building, and we kind of didn't know what we were going to do inside the club. And once we saw the facade of the building and how important it was as a statement on the street, we just said, boys, why don't you come in and just decorate the whole place? And they started chopping cars up in the back alley with blowtorches and mounting them on the walls. And, eventually once the band started rolling in, the rest of the place is covered in stickers and graffiti, typical CBGB's like scrap bar like stuff, the Double Down in Las Vegas, Exit in Chicago, Wild at Heart in Berlin. We're kind of all that kinship of dive bar / small venue genres, and we all know each other, especially now with the internet. It's fun to show up in another town and let them know you're coming. You get treated like a junkie dive bar brotherhood.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, well, we obviously we never played CBGB's, but actually we never played Wild at Heart either, but we've definitely hung out there a bunch. And it's weird because like you see some like really cool clubs, they come and go sometimes.
Sorry. Yeah.
And sometimes it's a bummer. Sometimes you're like, yeah, good, because I never wanted to play there again. But yeah, most of the time, there's some cool places that just don't make it. So it's pretty cool that you guys have lasted 30 years. Now getting through this whole pandemic situation, I'm sure that's not been the funnest thing to go through as a
shit show.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but that's really I don't know, a testament to I don't know, just having a good scene, I guess. And
I think so. I think so. I think it's more of a testament to the scene, and we're maybe choice number one for punk metal or desert rock or hard rock. Kids that are. I mean, they're starting out like when let's just use an example. Almost 30 years ago, when Queens of the Stone Age rolled in here, they weren't famous yet, and they were excited to be here, dropping off their DAT tapes for us to play, because we used to have a DAT player here.
Nice.
There wasn't even CDs back then, so when bands dropped off a tape and they wanted it to sound good here, we'd play it for them, and then the club befriends them, a place for them to party after the show, and the next day if they decide not to leave town. So you develop these type of relationships, and then as they grow up in the industry, just like you guys, and get a little more famous, it's always nice when everybody comes back after the show in Toronto. And of course, sometimes we have, larger bands doing smaller shows here because they love the place. So, if you can sell, 15,000 tickets at the big hockey arena, that's great. But if you're Sum 41 and you want to do something cool, Cohen will call and say, what do you think about if we play an after show at like 1:30 in the morning? And we'll go, yeah, let's do it. It's always a pleasure when, the young bands become famous, and then they kind of pay us back by giving us this love by doing a tiny little show for 180 people.
Hell yeah. Did Sum 41 really play there?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, they grew up drinking here. They've been here since they were 19.
Yeah.
19, right, guys?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I think that gives them more cred, I think.
Actually, maybe it's mutual.
Yeah. Oh, sure. But I mean, once a band gets so big, people can often think like, oh yeah, they were just like on MTV when they were kids, and now they're huge, and they probably aren't nearly as cool as they look. But then to know that they're still coming and like hanging out with the likes of the Bovine crew and all that, it's like, oh yeah, those guys are legit.
Yeah, for sure. It's always nice, and it's led to my interesting travel life is all based on the last 30 years of the Bovine. I've met so many cool bands and cool crew and cool film festival people that we're always excited to visit them on their home turf and see a show in their hometown and hang out with them after. Mike's the same way. Fat Mike has always been a huge supporter of the club. Yeah, he plays pranks on me. The last time he was here, he was visiting one of his girlfriends.
I'm sure he does.
In the middle of the winter, and he took a video at 8:00 in the morning trying to bust into the Bovine looking for me. But he was being kind of tongue in cheek, but he posted that, and we got a lot of love from that. Mike's always a great supporter.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I have to feel like knowing him though. Was he a little bit disappointed when he found out it wasn't really a sex club?
Maybe. We didn't talk about it back then, but certainly in his 15 years ago till now personality, I would say he probably would have said that for sure.
Yeah, right. I mean, but speaking of that, like the name Bovine Sex Club, obviously, you know, people who don't know what the fuck is up might be like, hey, I'm going to go here for some sex. And then they get in there and they're like, wait a minute. I don't know if I'm going to have sex in here. It's not quite as obvious as the name makes it out to be. Was that a plan? Like, or did you just think it was cool or what?
Before the Bovine, the same three of us were running a place called 23 Hop, which was more of a midnight till 8 a.m. cover charge, kind of alternative, you know, rave scene type stuff in the 80s. And one of the advertisements we had was 23 Hop is not the Bovine Sex Club, with a picture of an antique cow, and that morphed into a T-shirt, like a cartoon cow with a thought bubble that said, you know, 23 Hop is not the Bovine Sex Club. And for all you people that don't know what bovine means, you got to go back to your science class to remember that feline is cat, canine is dog, and bovine is cow.
Yeah.
So a lot of people understand that, and they always think the name's funny. But the people that don't know that call every day for 30 years. The entire answering machine in the office is full of people asking how to get into the sex club. Do I have to bring a partner? Is it a membership only? I mean, this has gone on for 30 years. Like, there's no messages from anyone important on our answering machine. It's all about sex.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's keeping up the mystique, right? I mean,
Totally.
As long as people still don't quite get it, I think you're doing a good job.
Perfect.
Yeah. So you started this club 30 years ago. You were already doing this other thing. What prompted you to do that? I mean, I guess you're in the scene. You want to be a club owner.
I would say, you know, the two other partners are a bit older than me. Then and still now famous DJ Chris Shepard, and sort of a club, you know, a club magnet, audio and video guy. And you know, we had visited the Scrap Bar in New York, which is also kind of like the Bovine and the Double Down, a junkie kind of rock bar. And we had visited, you know, a few places all over the place, and thought that Toronto needed something authentic for dive bar culture. And, you know, you can tell in 1991, as the 80s are ending and the 90s are starting, you know, we're riding the grunge scene, and you know, the bands coming down were like Pearl Jam, and, you know, they're all coming after their shows. So we got a lot of love from that. Chili Peppers, all that sort of nonsense. Ministry.
Yeah, now you mentioned that, I feel like just based on the fact like that, I mean, people think of like Seattle, Washington is like the hot spot for the grunge scene back in the day. I don't know. I guess you guys are on the other side of the continent, but I feel like that would translate really good to like the scene in Toronto.
I think so. I think it was a little more crusty, you know, sort of crusty, glammy, punky here at the same time. But you know, we're like everybody else. Once that scene started, all the bands started sounding like that. All the kids started dressing like that. You know, everybody's wearing flannel coats and growing their hair and putting in earrings and ponytails. I
guess that's why I think of it, because like flannel was the big thing. And I remember like hearing an interview with one of the guys in one of those bands, and they were like, we don't wear flannel because it's trendy. We wear it because it's fucking cold up here. And I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense. And that's why it would probably work in Toronto or anywhere. Well, anywhere in Canada, really, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. What's the weather like where you are, young man?
Oh yeah, I'm hanging out here in Germany, and it's a little cold. You know, I don't normally wear a sweatshirt on my you know, when I'm doing anything. This is my Lucy's sweatshirt. I don't know if you know about that place. It's in Gainesville. It's not quite you know, it's a cool, nice little venue. But yeah, you know, it's pretty here. It's a lot like you know, the Midwest back in America. They got the trees changing colors, and it's all nice and stuff. Yeah, it's nice.
Same here. That's what we're going through now. It's fall. It's down to you know, it's down to 5 degrees Celsius, or you know, it's getting cool here. So
yeah, I don't even know what that is. Like 40. Yeah, it's probably like in the low 50s, high 40s as far as I know math real good. All right.
I I know 10 is 50. That's the easy one. So it's
there
definitely
you
less
go.
than that at night. So it's about 40 at night.
Yeah, you guys get it a little colder than where I'm used to. But it's nice. It's my favorite time of year. Halloween's coming. So that's always good. And yeah. When is the big, speaking of Halloween, when is the big celebration for you guys as far as this 30th anniversary show?
The 30th anniversary show, I think, is the November 4th, 5th, and 6th. And it's just after Halloween. And KJ is going to roll in from the other side of the country. And we got, usually we try and find local support that loves the band and loves the club, that just want to be, part of the whole celebration. And that's what we're doing. And I think Black Cat Attack's going to play. So Brown Sound from Sum 41, that's one of his side projects. So he's going to play a little set before KJ comes on. I can't remember which of the nights. So it's just really, during the pandemic, we haven't had a chance to open up and have live music until about 6 or 8 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. You guys were completely shut down until then?
Well, we had, you've been on the tiki bar upstairs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we were allowed, since the beginning of June to be outside.
Okay.
I've had, drinks and DJs outside, but we haven't been inside in a long time. And so it's slowly starting up. And this week they're reducing more and more restrictions. Our COVID numbers, it's not to be scientific or positive or, choosing what side of that stupid argument that everybody's having, but our numbers in Ontario have been spectacular. I mean, there's 15 million people here and we only have 300 cases a day. So the ICUs are down and less pressure on healthcare and all the people supporting the cause to get everybody healthy. And so they're slowly loosening it up, and it's good timing for us because then we can sell more tickets, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to have a party with no people.
Yeah, well, and you want bands to want to come there,
Sure.
I don't know. Mass Intruder ain't touring at all this year, as far as I know. Anyway, I mean, something might be happening, but I just don't know about it yet. But we're just kind of taking our time to get back into it, because if we do go on tour, the first thing we're probably going to do is the States. And there's definitely some sketchy places in the States. Like most of the places are honestly kind of sketchy as far as that stuff goes. And it's not that I think we're going to get sick. It's just that I don't want to be part of one of those super spreader events or whatever and feel real bad about it or some shit. And, so we're just kind of whatever. We got some other stuff going on we're going to take care of for now. And, eventually we'll get back into it. But that's great that Toronto has got the shit together. And you guys, having that advantage of the outside bar is really cool. I know that here in Europe, a lot of places, they did that with restaurants would be able to open up for just outside seating. And luckily in this town, that's kind of a big deal. So, the summer was pretty hopping, but, now it's getting to the point where everybody's going inside. So I hope people are staying safe. And I'm glad that you guys are able to, I don't know, be kind of on a forefront. Yeah.
Put a little rock and roll out there for everybody.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Because people need it, I feel like, I don't know what your pre-sales are like, but people got to be chomping at the bit, as the kids like to say, or whatever, to get into some of these shows.
Yeah. With all the reduced capacity because of COVID, where it's a sellout every night. It's it's like a streak now. You can't not sell out because you're only offering half the tickets.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I guess that could be cool because, obviously, it's not quite as cool for you guys being a business owner and everything because you'd like to make some more money.
I'd like to sell some beer.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But it's got to be kind of cool for the people coming, because I feel like a half full Bovine is still going to be pretty fun. Except you might be able to move around a little better than if it was totally up to the real capacity.
Shoulder to shoulder, face to face. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've been there on one of those nights actually. And it was a blast, but man, it was packed to the brim and it was fucking great.
Well, that's the intrigue about a small venue is how many people you meet and, you know, how close the quarters are, so to speak. There's no place to hide when we're busy.
That's right. And it's a lot of fun. Oh, yeah. Hi, Intruder Maniacs. Are you in a band? The answer is, of course you are. Everybody's in a fucking band these days. Anyway, if you're in a band, congratulations. I'm making the worst financial decision of your life. Aside from taking out college loans or something, yeah. Now, there is a way to lessen the burden of such a financial decision. It's called merchandising. And Super Rad Merch Company is all ready to meet your merchandising needs. You want some t-shirts? Got a tight deadline you need them printed on? And because you booked a tour less than a month out and you didn't get canceled like everybody else's tours did? How about a bunch of weird random trinkets like keychains, medallions, and what about koozies? You know, like everybody likes koozies. Koozies are great because they keep your drink cold and your hand warm, or vice versa, depending on what you're drinking. Super Rad Merch Company can get all these made for you. Super Rad Merch Company is an in-house artist who can help you with your designs of stuff. They're still a small enough company that they pay special attention to you and your special needs, because, you know, everybody's got special needs. Like, you probably mostly. And they even got a web store. That's where the real magic is. You go on tour and you sell your stuff, but chances are you're going to have some left over, or some fans are going to feel like left out because they didn't have enough money to buy something at your show. So they go on to stupidradmerch.com and find stuff from your band on there. They'll take care of all your production and shipping fulfillment needs. So go ahead, go on to Stupid Rad Merch Company's web store right now and check out all the tight bands that are already on there. They got a bunch of them, like got at the Bomb Pops and like the Bad Cop and stuff. It's all good. All sorts of cool swag. And right now, if you go on there and at checkout you use the code PRISON, you can get 15% off all of the Stupid Rad Merch branded apparel at stupidradmerch.com. Go check it out.
StupidRadMerch.com.
Guitar players, I bet you thought you were shit out of luck when it comes to finding your dream guitar or amp. You know, you go on some auction site or something and it's all crap. Yeah, well that's because, you know, you gotta look in the right place. And the right place is Yeah Man's Vintage and Used Guitars. They got exactly what you're looking for. Now I know what you're thinking. Aren't they located in like Switzerland or something? Yeah man, they are. Bern, Switzerland to be exact. But you know, you can get on the internet and you can go check out their website, yeahmansguitars.com, and you can order stuff on there. So, it don't really matter where the heck you are in the world. You can just get on their website and find all sorts of cool stuff that you're looking for. And you might not even know that you wanted it until you see it on there. And there's a lot of good stuff. If you got something specific you're looking for and need some help finding it, just hit up Yeah Man Guitars on the electronic mail. That's the email. It's like 21st century and you got email and websites. It's like amazing. Some people will call it magic. Some people will call it science. I just call it, I don't know, crazy shit. yeahmansguitars@gmail.com. As far as email goes, it's where you email them. And while you're at it, get your band a tour in Europe and stop by the shop. Michael and the rest of the crew would love to meet you, I'm sure. And you could tell them Green sent you. Yeah Man's Vintage and Used Guitars. So that is wonderful. I guess I talked to KJ about this too, but I just want to know, because like you said, the Bovine is kind of like it's a rock and roll club, I guess, mainly, right? But KJ comes from the punk scene and the Fat Records and all that. Obviously, you were talking about Fat Mike earlier. And so I guess Toronto as a city seems to have a pretty amazing scene, probably in every scene as far as like music is concerned. But I don't know. How is the punk scene going for you?
Punk scene is always thriving. The punk scene never seems to go away. The metal scene is always strong, and I would say in the last 10 years, stronger than the 10 years before that. There's always, there's just so much stuff here. There's so many venues and so many types of music. I mean, we have raging ska nights. We have raging funk nights. Sometimes we've booked classical pianists to play on that shitty little dirty stage with all the junk. We'll do film festival parties. I think one of the things in the 30 years is that we're open to doing alternative things. We can be a dance club if you want us to be, but it's not our favorite topic, but sometimes the party, well, it's just sometimes the party warrants that,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if it's an after party, sometimes they don't want to have the band because they just played. So they'll say, what if someone who is in direct support DJs tonight? We'll go, yeah, let it happen. Let it rip,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think did Eric Melvin from NoFX do that one time there?
Eric Melvin's done it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Jello's DJ'd here. Don Letts is DJ'd here. Ozzy Argento, the movie star, is DJ'd here. We've had a lot of celebrity DJs. Cohen, of course, from Sum 41 DJ'd here. He just DJ'd here, I think, 2 weeks ago.
All right.
So, there's always that. We love it. Three of the boys in Queens of the Stone Age did a DJ set during film festival, which was hilarious.
Great.
Mikey and Troy and the lot. So, that's always fun too. And Kevin Lyman from the Warped Tour is DJ'd here.
Oh, hell yeah. That's great.
He played a lot of country.
There's some good stuff in the country scene, I guess.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
So, next time in your town, you're going to have to bring some vinyl or bring your computer.
Oh yeah, I've been doing that. I'm surprised we didn't do that at the Bovine. I feel like maybe we tried to line it up, but it just didn't work out with the last time we were on tour. But I've been trying to, and I'm excited because some people actually I got two things coming up here in Germany where I'm doing some of that, and I'm finally got my shit together and got a real case to hold records in. Because before, the way I was doing it, I would just carry a whole one of those like milk crates or whatever full of records. And that's not the way to do it.
Everybody still does that.
I know that's the thing. It's not the way to do it though. That's wrong.
You got one of those aluminum cases with the snaps on it now.
Yeah, it's that one right there. It's right behind me, and it looks like one of those like a guitar amp. Yeah, it's a Rogue case, but it's perfectly made for fitting records in there. So I'm excited about that. I get to use it and not, just using the laptop is still fun. Like, cause you can like really play like anything. And, it's more just about like being there and like, messing with the audience and stuff and like having a good time. But, it's also fun to actually play like real records and stuff. I think that's like that's more like, it's more challenging. And it's more like, I don't know. I don't want to say authentic because I feel like a lot of people are just using a laptop and I don't want to sell them short. But
we're always
I don't know a better word.
we're always pro vinyl here. I think that, let's say you have two DJs on and someone's playing digital music. Yeah. And the DJ following puts on LPs, like analog music, the whole room warms up and everyone's reminded why records sound so good. It's incredible. So we love that. And all the speaker systems here, we don't have a lot of digital crap. We have a lot of fixed analog stuff. All of the stage equipment is analog. We don't have any processors in it. And it just sounds like beer stained and smoked. And, that's the way music should sound.
It sounds like rock and roll.
Exactly.
Every time I'm there. Hell yeah. Perfect. And it sounds good. I don't want to like give people the wrong impression, but like,
oh no, it's that late 70s, early 80s sound. We don't want to let it go.
Hell yeah. I don't know why you would. I mean, I don't want to geek out too much on like the way recording and all that stuff is these days, but like people are like, oh, records, they sound so scratchy. And I'm like, I'm not saying it sounds better as far as like hi-fi and quality, but it does sound better. It's just like in a different way. I don't know.
I think it sounds warmer. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah, that's probably the right word for it. It just sounds nicer, I guess. I don't know. Because like, you way people record now, you got the guitar going right in there. You don't even use the speaker cab no more and all this stuff. And it's like, what about all that other stuff that distracted from like the super like obvious sound that you're trying to make? And everybody's like, well, we didn't want that, so we got rid of it. And I'm like, well, I didn't want to eat it, but I kind of like it better when it's still there. Yeah, acoustics and stuff like that. Well, anyway, back to the story of the Bovine. You guys survived, or you flourished, I guess, in the grunge scene. And then how did this work actually? I'm interested to know because I was kind of like into grunge when that happened, but I really, like when Green Day blew up in '94 and stuff, that's when I really got into music more. So like, what were the '90s like for you guys?
Well, that was it. So we started with the grunge scene and I guess the post '80s sound in terms of music, and in the middle of the '90s with Green Day and all the bands we started to book in Toronto, like local bands like Sinisters and stuff. It became more authentic punk, and then more aggressive punk, and then as the 2000s were approaching and Warped Tour was going on, it got a little softer, a little more pop punk in terms of what the kids were listening to. It seems like every 5 years we go up for 3 years and down for 3 years, but we know we'll go up again. We just got to see what the next set of kids are going to do. And as long as it's cool, we're cool with that. And then, and then after the pop punk stuff, it went back to being more of a metal bar. And, who knows where we're going to go next? It just seems like, the next set of 25-year-olds is going to dictate what kind of music we're going to play and what kind of bands we're going to book. Certainly don't want to put on bands that no one's going to come to.
Well, that's the one thing, right? I suppose.
Yeah.
But even then, like, it's like sometimes you might put on the next, I don't know, some 41 before they get big or something.
You never know.
That's right. And that's the best time to see those. I think I actually saw Blink 182 open the Warped Tour, and it was right after that album that, what was it? The big album that fucking broke them. It had just come out. And like year? They were literally 96, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, the point was like we were watching them and like nobody was watching them because they were just like opening the Warped Tour, like literally the first band playing. And then like we saw their video later and it was like Red was like, I think this is the band we saw at Warped Tour. And I was like, what?
With nobody.
Yeah, exactly. And then,
I think the same thing happened to No Doubt on Warped Tour. And there's lots of those bands started on Warped Tour playing to small stages, and the next year they're the biggest band in punk. Yeah,
that's right. That's
crazy.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, I liked really getting to know a little more about the Bovine here. We always have a great time whenever we're just hanging out there or like doing whatever. Is KJ playing acoustic or are they doing Chicks Dig It? Do you know?
Chicks Dig It's coming. Everybody's coming.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I know I talked to him about it, but that was a long time ago, like a whole week ago.
I got hotel rooms for them. They better be coming.
Yeah, that's right. KJ, maybe it's just KJ and he really wants to like, he wants to live like a king. He's going to sleep in a different room every few hours.
No, he said to me, this will be the first show post or ending as the pandemic ends that he's played. So he's raring to go.
Oh, hell yeah.
I know the band's raring to go, and there's no better place to start as far as I'm concerned than here for our anniversary. So it's also KJ's 30th anniversary as well as the Bovine's 30th anniversary.
Yeah, that's right. And I wanted to know, like, is there some long history there with you guys, or is I guess the history is just a relationship with through Mike and No Effects and Fat Records. I mean, that's all of those bands kind of make this their clubhouse when they're in Toronto. And then of course all of the common publicist work that Melanie Kay did, and she's insisted the bands go out for French food and wine and then go back to Bovine for tequila and beer. So she's instrumental in keeping all that going as well. She's a lovely lady. Oh yeah, hell yeah. And shout out to Melanie for she's always hooking me up with interesting people to talk to, whether it be bands, club owners, people, anybody behind the scenes. Like, and I feel like she's a real good like ambassador of like Canadian punk rock or just rock and roll in general. Best. She's great. And she was like a 17-year-old out of the house girl fronted band singer. Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, you got to talk to her about that. I will reveal no more.
Yeah, all right. I think I've asked her maybe to be on a podcast, and it's always one of those answers like, sure, we'll get right on that. But here, have these band on your podcast first. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. Well, I got one more question to ask you, and I don't know if you were prompted about this, but I don't know. Crime stories. Do you got any?
Like a crime story that involves the bovine?
It can involve whatever. I would also say, like,
I got lots of crime stories that involve the bovine. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't want you to like get your club shut down for some stuff, but I feel like I should also open this up because I always ask for crime stories, but like sometimes people just tell stories that are kind of like wacky and stuff like that. And not necessarily criminal, like whatever. But that's the theme of the show. I'm Intruder Green. I got to talk about crime. So, I don't know.
Typical of every independent club where there's lots of customers for professional criminals that want, drugs, bitches, loans, after hour scene, all that sort of nefarious stuff. When we open,
you take out a bank loan.
Yeah, you take out a bank loan from a biker. It's kind of a weird thing to do, but they sell money at high interest rates.
Sure, I guess so.
Anyway, in the beginning, Queen Street, which is the street that the Bovine's located on in Toronto, was not the trendy mecca that it is now. It's not Vice Magazine's second trendiest street in North America. It was a lawless place with gangs and bikers when we opened. We were not part of the infrastructure and the entertainment system in Toronto. We were on the outskirts, and typically all the best bars start just outside the core in any city because they're going to find a cheap place that no one's been to yet. Yeah. So all the criminals used to visit here all the time, and typically they want to take over, but but also it was so trendy, trendy in a good way, with all the grunge scene and all that. That all the off-duty.
Well, yeah, it was part of a scene already. It wasn't part of the gangster.
So all the off-duty police officers are drinking here, and they had to have a little confrontation and agree that the Bovine was not going to be a crime statistic. It was going to be Switzerland, and that they weren't going to ply their trade in there, and there's be no takeovers and stuff like that. So that's sort of the true crime start, but obviously. Without going into details, because of the Bovine, I ended up getting kidnapped. I won't explain the rest of it because I'm still here.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, but that's 25 years ago. Okay. And there's lots of crime. Oh, like crimes of passion. I don't know. Lenny Kravitz after his show in that washroom across from where I'm pointing with, two babes in the washroom. And there's a crime of passion right there. That's one of our funny stories because the two regulars girls that went with Lenny, showed up 10 years later, and we were all still here, and we clapped them in as they walked into the bar.
All right.
So lots of crime stories here.
All right. I believe it to be true. Darryl, you're the real deal. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I love your club.
Thank you.
I'm excited to be there again someday, and I will, regardless of Mass Intruders are playing or not, I will bring my records and I'll probably just be like, yo, can I DJ tonight? And you can say yes and no to that, but I would love to. And it was nice to finally have you on the show and talk.
Thank you very much for coming into the Bovine with your microphones and your camera. And I hope to see you guys soon. And I will push on the other side of Melanie K's publicity world and say that you have to come and DJ.
Oh, hell yeah. I would love to. Next time I have the opportunity to get over there, we'll make it happen. All right.
Okay, perfect.
Hell yeah. Well, I'll talk to you soon, bud.
Okay.
And that's it for the Intruder Green podcast. You can hit me up on all the socials at Intruder Green or go to intrudergreen.com for all sorts of cool stuff. The Intruder Green calling line is +1 608-535-9608. Patreon.com/Intruder Green if you want to become a producer of the podcast. The Intruder Green podcast is produced by Colin Bennett, management by Anka Kramer, hair and makeup by Genevieve Smith, set design by Dylan Raymer, catering Matthew Hendershot, lighting Squeak Lights, Rahway, New Jersey. Our theme song is Particles by Type Bros. Marriage is punishment for shoplifting in some countries.